Hi friends, may peace be upon you. This is the fourth part of DHA, HAAD, MOH, SLE, OMSB, KDLE exam questions with answers in dentistry. Welcome to Easy Learn. First question. An elderly patient has worn a maxillary complete denture against 6 mandibular anterior teeth for extended period of time. By examining the edentulous mouth of the patient, the dentist would probably see A. Intrusion of mandibular anterior teeth. B. Flabby ridge tissue in the posterior maxillary arch. C. Cystic degeneration of the foramina of the anterior palatine nerve. D. Loss of osseous structure in the anterior maxillary arch. Answer is D. A dentist extracts a patient's mandibular molar, fracturing the mesial root. The distal root and superior portion of the mesial root are removed with a crown. The remaining portion of the mesial root should be removed with A. Cried elevator, B. Crane pick elevator, C. Straight elevator, D. Lower universal forceps. Answer is A. Crayer's elevator is a straight elevator with a triangular blade. The working tip is angulated with one convex and another flat surface. The flat surface is the working side. It is based on the lever and the wedge principle. The uses are for extraction of root stems of the mandibular molars when one root is removed and the other is left behind. For extraction of mandibular molar root stems when both the roots are present but one is fractured at a lower level than the other, or when the furcation is intact. Next question. Which of the following oral bacteria have been implicated as periodontal pathogens? The options are A. Porphyromonas gingivalis, Eubacterium species, Campylobacter recta. B. Streptococcus godoni, Streptococcus mutans, Gamella species. C. Lactobacillus casei and Veillonella species. D. Streptococcus meteor, Streptococcus godoni, Bacteroides gracilis. Answer is A. Next question. Primary hepatic gingivostomatitis is most likely to occur in which of the following age groups? A. 1 to 5 years, B. 6 to 10 years, C. 11 to 15 years, D. 16 to 20 years, E. 21 to 25 years. Answer is A. 1 to 5 years. Primary hepatic gingivostomatitis is a condition characterized by a prodrome of fever followed by eruption of painful ulcerative lesion of gingiva and mucosa and often yellow perioral vesicular lesions. It typically occurs in children younger than the age of 5 but can also occur in adolescents and adults. So, our answer is A. 1 to 5 years. Next question. Setting time of zinc oxide eugenol impression pace can be accelerated by adding a small amount of A. Water, B. Glycerin, C. Petrolatum, D. Plaster of Paris. Answer is A. Water. They are usually supplied as two pastes which are mixed together on a paper or glass slab. Zetano paste typically being white and eugenol paste is a reddish brown color. The accelerators used are water or alcohol and the main retarders used are inert oils such as olive oil or mineral oil. Next question. When determining the appropriate dose of systemic fluoride supplement for a child, it is most important for the dentist to consider which of the following? A. The fluoride content. B. The child's diet and caries activity. C. The child's age and the fluoride content of the drinking water. D. The child's weight and the fluoride content of the drinking water. Answer is C. The child's age and the fluoride content of the drinking water. We know that one of the most effective agents used today to combat tooth decay is fluoride. For optimal prevention of decay for the developing and erupted teeth, it is recommended that children be exposed to fluoride at age of 6 months. Supplementation in the form of tablets, mouth rinses, pastes or gels is generally continued until age 16. When determining the appropriate dosage of the systemic fluoride, we have to consider child's age and the fluoride content of the drinking water. Friends, you have to by heart this table. For memorizing this table, I have given an easy tip in my part 1 video. Please check the description box for that video. Next question. How many hours per day should a cervical pull headgear be worn to achieve the most effective results? A 8, B 6, C 12, D 10, E 14. Answer is E 14 hours. Cervical pull headgear consists of a cervical neck strap and a standard face bow inserting into the headgear tubes of the maxillary first molar attachments. The objectives of treatment with these types of headgear are to restrict anterior growth of the maxilla and to distalize and erupt maxillary molars. So once more, the main objectives are to restrict anterior growth of maxilla and to distalize and erupt maxillary molars. The main disadvantage of cervical pull headgear is extrusion of maxillary molars. Next question. Excessive vertical dimension of occlusion may result in which of the following? A. Poor denture retention. B. Increased interocclusal distance. C. Drooping of the corners of mouth. D. Trauma to underlying supporting tissues. Answer is D. Trauma to underlying supporting tissues. We know that if the vertical dimension is altered, there will be severe discomfort in both the TMJ and the muscles of mastication. Errors in vertical dimension are the first to produce discomfort and strain. So what happens when VD is increased? I am sharing some points. First one, increased trauma to denture bearing area. Then cheek biting, difficulty in swallowing and speech, pain and clicking in TMJ, stretching of facial muscles, and increased volume or cubical space of the oral cavity. One more, increased lower facial height. So what happens when vertical dimension is decreased? The effects are, here comparatively lesser trauma to the denture bearing area is experienced and there is decreased lower facial height, angular cheilitis due to folding of the corners of the mouth, difficulty in swallowing. Difficulty in swallowing is experienced when VD is decreased or increased. The patient may experience pain, clicking, discomfort of TMJ accompanied with headache and neuralgia, loss of lip fullness, obstruction of the opening of the eustachian tube due to the elevation of the soft palate due to the elevation of the tongue or mandible, loss of muscle tone, corners of the mouth are turned down, thinning of the vermilion borders of the lip, decreased volume or cubical space of the oral cavity. These are the main features. Next question. Which of the following routes of administration exhibits the slowest rate of absorption? A. Oral, B. Sublingual, C. Subcutaneous, D. Intramuscular. Answer is A. Oral. Next question. Excessive heating of the acrylic resin during processing should be avoided to prevent A. Exothermic heat buildup, B. Acrylic resin shrinkage, C. Evaporation of monomer, D. Excessive acrylic resin expansion, E. Discoloration of acrylic resin. Answer is C. Evaporation of monomer. Next question. In which of the following teeth does the pulpal anatomy dictate a triangular axis cavity preparation? A. Maxillary central incisor, B. Maxillary first molar, C. Mandibular second premolar, D. Mandibular canine. Answer is A. Maxillary central incisor. So let's check access cavity shapes in different teeth. In maxillary central incisor, access cavity is rounded triangular shape with base towards the incisal edge. For maxillary lateral incisor, access cavity is rounded triangular shape. Same. For maxillary canine, it's oval in shape with greatest diameter labiopalatally. In maxillary first premolar, access cavity is oval in shape. Same in maxillary second premolar, it is in oval. In maxillary first molar, it is rhomboid in shape. Same maxillary second molar, rhomboid shape. Coming into mandibular teeth, in mandibular central incisor, access cavity is oval in shape with longest diameter incisogingivally. Same in mandibular lateral incisor, access cavity is oval in shape. In mandibular canine also, the access cavity is oval in shape with greater diameter labiopalatally. In mandibular first premolar, access cavity is oval in shape and is wider mesiodistally compared to maxillary first premolar. In mandibular second premolar, same access cavity is oval in shape. In mandibular first and second molar, access cavity is trapezoidal or rhomboid in shape. Next question. Which of the following is the best aid in the diagnosis of an irreversible pulpitis? A. Electric pulp test. B. Thermal test. C. Percussion. D. Test cavity. Answer is B. Thermal test. So let's check the diagnostic features of reversible pulpitis and irreversible pulpitis. For reversible pulpitis, there is pain from cold test that does not linger more than 30 seconds. No percussion sensitivity, no spontaneous pain, no heat sensitivity. For irreversible pulpitis, there is a pain from cold test that lingers more than 30 seconds, may get pain from heat test, may have spontaneous pain, may be percussion sensitive, and radiographically or clinically visible deep caries. Coming to thermal testing which involves the application of either hot or cold stimuli to the tooth is the most commonly used test. A number of products are available for cold testing, each with varying melting points. Although household ice is cheap and easy to obtain, it's not as accurate as colder products. We can perform a cold test using a refrigerant spray, example endo ice or an ice stick. Test the healthy controlled teeth first in order to better localize the offending tooth. We can perform a hot test using hot water in a syringe, example monojet and rubber dam isolation, a heated gutta percha stick or heat source, example system B heat source, to reproduce pain to hot. Next question. Which of the following characterizes replacement resorption? A. Chronic pain. B. Apical pathosis. C. Rapid progression. D. Acute inflammation. E. Ankylosis. Answer is E. Ankylosis. Coming into resorption, the resorption may be internal resorption, external resorption, invasive resorption, pressure resorption, idiopathic resorption. Under external resorption, there is surface resorption, inflammatory resorption and replacement resorption. So, the replacement resorption comes under external resorption. The main cause of replacement resorption is severe traumatic injuries like intrusive luxation or avulsion with extended dry times. The main clinical findings are ankylotic teeth. Tooth may demonstrate high-pitched metallic percussion sound. Infraocclusion may be evident. These are the main clinical findings. Radiographic findings are resorption lacunae are filled with bone and the periodontal ligament space is missing. Next question. Early stage periapical cemental dysplasia is best differentiated from chronic apical periodontitis by A. Percussion, B. Subjective symptoms, C. Periodontal examination, D. Results of pulp testing. E. Radiographic appearance. Answer is D. Results of pulp testing. Next question. The complete separation of a tooth from its alveolus is A. Avulsion, B. Ankylosis, C. Subluxation, D. Extrusive luxation. Answer is A. Avulsion. Avulsion is the complete displacement of a tooth from its socket in alveolar bone. It is also called as exarticulation and most often involves maxillary teeth. The clinical feature is bleeding socket with missing teeth. Radiographic features are empty socket, associated bone fractures. If the wound is recent, then lamina dura is visible, otherwise it is obliterated. Friends, for part 1, part 2, part 3 videos, see the description box. Also, for Viva questions, see the description box. Please subscribe my channel. Okay, bye. Thank you.